After listening, after Yu Fangxia's reasoned and well-founded analysis, Xiao Ruyu was suddenly surprised it turned out to be like this. I understand. I see that Xiao Ruyu understands it. Yu Fangxia spoke again, more times like this. The more you have to go forward. Take the edge of the dust with a final word. Daughter, this is the happiness of your life. Hear the words. Xiao Ruyu immediately nodded with a firm face and said yes. That's it. I've been in a cold war with Chen Yuan for the past few days. It's so undeserved. You can't give other women a chance. Meanwhile, it was not early in the boys' dormitory. Chen Yuan was about to wash and sleep. And yet at this moment, Chen Yuan's mobile phone rang suddenly. After he saw the information that it was Xiao Ruyu, I can't help but feel a little strange. What caught his eye was a message of apology. Chen Yuan, I'm sorry I kept blaming you wrong. See this inexplicable apology message. Chen Yuan was immediately confused. What happened to Xiao Ruyu? What the hell is this? Chen Yuan, think of the requirements that Zhao Yuqi wants to invest in today. He couldn't help but analyze it secretly. Today, Zhao Yuqi and Xiao Ruyu are very abnormal. Did they both know each other's existence? If that's the case, I'm going to have to take the initiative, when I think of me, to verify the guesses of the heart. Chen Yuan immediately called Xiao Ruyu, and Xiao Ruyu looked at Chen Yuan's call. I panicked suddenly. What should I do if Chen Yuan called? And Yu Fangxia hurriedly urged to pick it up. He must have sensed your signal. After Xiao Ruyu answered the phone, Chen Yuan immediately took the lead in opening his mouth and said like rain, There's a thing. I feel compelled to tell you about it first. Xiao Ruyu couldn't help but smile when she heard this. Suppressed to Chen Yuan, what's the matter? Followed by, Chen Yuan directly told the truth. I recently invested in a live streaming platform, and then it was given. I am managed by a senior sister named Zhao Yuqi. Originally, it was nothing, but I feel the need to tell you, seeing that Chen Ren actually took the initiative to report to himself. Xiao Ruyu's heart suddenly relaxed. Live streaming platform. I know. Then Chen Yuan hung up the phone. Yu Fangxia couldn't help but be curious about what Chen Yuan said. And Xiao Ruyu said with peace of mind. Chen Yuan gave it to Zhao Yuqi. Told me about investing in a live streaming platform. As soon as I heard this, Yu Fangxia's hanging heart finally let go. I'll just say it. Chen Yuan is expressing his position. You're still the most important one in his heart. Xiao Ruyu's face suddenly turned happy when she heard this. Excited to the point that it was, Chen Yuan is not as bad as I think. He likes me. Suddenly, Xiao Ruyu secretly reproached in her heart. He was completely defenseless against me. I partnered with other women to get his money. Thinking about what I thought not long ago, tears welled up in his face. I'm such a bad woman. Su Fangxia. Seeing that Xiao Ruyu was so dignified, she suddenly cried. He immediately panicked. Baby daughter, what's wrong? What are you crying about? Xiao Ruyu brought the pear blossom to her mother. I feel so sorry for Chen Yuan. I want to compensate him. Speaking of this, Xiao Ruyu suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He began with a grin, saying that I was going to give him a gift. He will be pleasantly surprised. The women had only recently met. Said that he would sanction the scumbag. Unexpectedly, the three of them were grounded. I want to give Chen Yuan a gift. And met unexpectedly again. Just now, Zhao Yuqi's mobile phone is very. I received 2 billion on time. Under the arrangement of Chen Yuan. After a lawyer pulls out the documents. Suddenly, she said, Ms. Zhao, you signed this document. That's pretty much it. Zhao Yuqi Wenyin hurriedly began to sign. At the same time, if the enemy is not able to do this, is it okay? The lawyer immediately ordered. Nodding his head, he explained, yes. Okay. Now you're all about Big Cat TV. About the loss of Big Cat TV. It is also written in the corresponding report. You can take a look. Zhao Yuqi, after carefully reading the report. Not only are the ugly faces untouched. That's a loss of more than 10 million. No wonder Chen Yuan sent me money just now. If I start my own company, I went bankrupt before I even opened. Suddenly, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but smile lightly. I was secretly moved in my heart. That's the kind of person he is. Reliable and caring. But it's a big carrot. Immediately afterwards, Zhao Yuqi suddenly perked up, secretly said these 20 billion in my heart. Chen Yuan called me without frowning. I should have said that too. Otherwise, wouldn't I be a white-eyed wolf? The screen turns. Somewhere in the city, in a luxury commercial plaza. Zhao Yuqi after learning about the situation of Big Cat TV. I went to the mall. At this time, a large car show was being held in the square. A variety of the latest luxury cars are emerging one after another. Zhao Yuqi, after a walk, without frowning slightly, muttered to the words of sending the car to Chen Yuan. What kind of car would he prefer? I remember he had a Ferrari before. Don't give him a Ferrari anymore. And yet at this moment, Zhao Yuqi's pupils suddenly fluttered. A familiar figure was spotted not far away. Looked at Xiao Ruoyu, who was also looking at the car. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but feel a sudden burst in his heart, secretly depressed to how he is. How could he be here? Meanwhile, Xiao Ruoyu got out of the car. The same goes for you. Found Zhao Yu, who was looking at him not far away. After the two sides looked at each other. Zhao Yuqi hurriedly said politely, "It's you. Young lady, are you here to choose a car?" He couldn't help but complain secretly in his heart. How could he be here? Do we want to go together? Wenyan Xiao Ryu hurriedly made it up. An excuse was explained that there was no more. My dad is having his birthday. Come and choose a car for your dad as a birthday present. Sister Yuqi, what about you? You shouldn't be sending a car to Chen Yuan. After all that is said, Xiao Ryu couldn't help frowning slightly. I secretly guessed in my mind what he meant. Is this testing me? Could it be that he also wanted to send a car to Chen Yuan? Was ruined by a word. Zhao Yuqi suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Hurriedly explained how could it be? How to match this scumbag. I'm also here to pick a gift for my father. Xiao Ryu couldn't help but be embarrassed by the good filial piety, right? That's a coincidence. But at this moment, not far away, a familiar girl suddenly came. Why are you here? Vincent. The two of them turned to the voice in unison, looking from afar. After seeing a familiar figure, the two couldn't help but freeze in place. After seeing Qin Bingxue again, the two immediately asked in unison, "Why are you here?" As soon as this remark came out, Qin Bingxue immediately scratched her face in embarrassment. Explain me. I'm here to help my dad pick out a birthday present. And Xiao Ruoyu, after hearing this, his face instantly turned ugly. Zhao Yuqi, who was in the hall, saw this. Hurriedly said, what a coincidence. Our dad is going to have his birthday. Haha, suddenly, the three of them fell into inexplicability. Awkward situation. Then Xiao Ruyu's face was suspicious. Secretly complained in his heart about giving gifts to his father. Tricked the devil to go. It must be to buy a car for Chen Yuan's mother. And that's right. Any sanctions for scumbags are fake. Come to think of this. Xiao Ryu couldn't help but set her eyes on Zhao Yuqi. There is no secret enemy. Speaking of which, the surname is Zhao. Not long ago, I took the 2 billion given by the members. I don't have much money in my pocket right now. Come to think of this. Xiao Ruoyu immediately took out her mobile phone and prepared to dial. At the same time, it was secretly decided, you can't afford to lose to either of them. I have to God. Just call in for help. The man found out by accident. His bindings have actually formed an alliance. But he didn't panic at all. And I also bought 3 limited edition supercars in one go. Be prepared to test them. Just now, Xiao Ruoyu saw that Zhao Yuqi had just taken 2 billion. Knowing full well that he was definitely not his opponent. In order to buy a luxury car that Chen Yuan likes, Xiao Ryu directly called home to move the rescuers. And Yu Fangxiao was on the phone. I can't help but feel depressed. Boyu suddenly called back. Are you planning to send a car to Chen Yuan? Isn't there enough money? Rest assured, Light Rain. Mommy is here to help you. Immediately, Yu Fangxia decisively ordered Chen Bo. Transfer the funds from the family coffers. Call the Light Rain. Chen Bowen couldn't help but suppress his wife. Isn't that for the little master's marriage? And Yu Fangxia helplessly went to Uncle Chen. Don't talk about it. The biggest thing for the Xiao family at the moment. It is to tie Chen Yuan to death on our boat. Nothing else matters, Uncle Chen said with some difficulty. That little master sighed. Immediately, Yu Fangxia put on a pitiful expression. The opening of the road can only let him rise and fall for the sake of the family. I was a little wronged. Soon Xiao Ryu received one. 60 million arrivals. It was Yu Fangxia who beat him. Looking at this huge transfer, Xiao Ryu couldn't help but be secretly surprised. Actually called me 60 million in one go. Suddenly, Xiao Ryu was secretly moved in her heart. I always thought that my parents preferred my younger brother. I didn't expect to misunderstand them. Come to think of this, Xiao Ryu immediately secretly decided in his heart. Don't worry, Mom. I won't lose to Zhao Yuqi. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan suddenly came to the commercial plaza and found Zhang Haotian. After meeting with Zhang Haotian, Chen Yuan immediately looked forward to Haotian. The Bugatti I ordered. As Wang arrived, it's pretty fast. Zhang Haotian smiled. You can rest assured that I will do something. Let's go to the VIP lounge to sign the contract. Izumi couldn't help but sigh secretly as he walked. Don't say anything else. There are so many beauties at this kind of auto show. I saw every luxury car next to it. There are beautiful women of different styles standing tall to set off the luxury car next to it. Chen Yuan is fascinated by the more he looks. She couldn't help but secretly sigh if she had put it before. I didn't dare to come in. The next moment, Display's pupils suddenly shrank, and then secretly shocked what the situation was. How the two of them are together. After seeing Xiao Ryu and Zhao Yuqi together, after talking and laughing, he couldn't help but feel a pound in his heart. Zhao Yuqi actually came to see the auto show with Xiao Ryu, and the relationship is still so iron. That's when it happened. Qin Bingxue, who returned from buying water, also joined in. Chen Yuan immediately exploded, and Qin Bingxue was actually there. Is this going to engage in Taoyuan 3 knots? The next moment, Qin Bingxue suddenly turned around and looked at the snow behind him. He didn't find Chen Yuan's figure. Then Qin Bingxue withdrew his gaze. It's strange that the enemy is not secretly on the side. I always felt like someone was watching me. And the witty Chen Yuan hid behind Zhang Haotian. Immediately secretly said in his heart, although I expected that one day it would overturn, but I never expected the rollover to come so quickly. Thinking of the scene where the 3 women got along amicably, Chen Yuan immediately panicked. Looks like they should know each other. The other party exists. But even so, they didn't cut ties with me. It seems that I am still reluctant. Just when the dust edge was sweating profusely, Zhang Haotian suddenly felt a little confused and concerned about the general road. What happened to you? Where is it uncomfortable? But Chen Yuan didn't sit still. He suddenly lifted up a smug smile. Secretly in my heart. After all, they're all objects with a friendship score of 95 points or more. This is my chance to turn the tables around. Come to think of this. Chen Yuan suddenly stroked his hair, but smiled and said that it was okay. I had a cramp in my foot just now. That's right, Mr. Zhang. What are the most expensive cars you have here today? As soon as this remark came out, Zhang Hao, Tian immediately began to introduce with a smug face. For today, I put a lot of thought into it. The 3 most expensive cars tonight. They are the sons of Mount Pagani, the world's top limited edition. The minimum value is also 48 million. And then there's the same global. The top of the line limited edition Lamborghini Poison. Finally, it's the one you order. Up to 43 million Bugatti V Airlines. And Chen Yuan, after listening to the introduction. So he went straight to that line. I want all 3. You make an offer. After speaking, Chen Yuan immediately showed a playful effect. And Zhang Haotian was directly stunned. Do you want them all? Chen Yuan plans to use these 3 cars. Let's test this alliance between the 3 women. Let's see if it's secure. Come to think of this, Chen Yuan couldn't help but start secretly looking forward to it. There's nothing like taking them one by one. It's more fun to break it. The schoolgirl was accidentally asked for contact information by the son of the richest man. And he was still in front of Chen Yuan. Friends with each other. Just now, Chen Yuan said at the auto show, I want to buy 3 supercars worth tens of millions. Seeing Chen Yuan open his mouth, he bought them all. Zhang Haotian suddenly became anxious. But it's more difficult to do. Chen Yuan saw this. But both hands are indifferent to the price is not a problem. You know my level of consumption. And Zhang Haotian hurriedly explained, Brother Dao, you misunderstood. It's not about money. The other 2 cars have already been given away. Wasn't Chen Yuan Wenyan condemned because he was stunned? Who is so rich? And Zhang Haotian hurriedly opened his mouth and said, Brother Yin, you see that's him over there. He is the eldest son of the Lin group, the richest man in the country. Lin Shao had already ordered the remaining 2 last year. The car is said to be a gift for his sister. Dusty Eyes couldn't help frowning when he heard this. Can't the secret enemy be able to defeat the Lin group? The giant group that spans the whole country. Do you touch them for the sake of the car? Zhang Haotian saw that Chen Yuan was silent. He hurriedly said, Brother Ing, don't worry. I have other luxury cars here. I'll accompany you in your choice. However, just as Chen Yuan was thinking, he suddenly found that Lin Shao walked up to the 3 women. Immediately, he came to his senses. I saw Lin Shao walking to Xiao Ruyu's side. A hand was stretched out to block his path. At the same time, he laughed and said, Hello, miss. Sudden weakening and robustness are not due to stunned. And Lin Shao put on a melancholy look. I opened my mouth again and said that my surname is Lin. It's an honor to have that. Can you add your contact information to get to know us? Speaking of this, Lin Shao suddenly frowned. So depressed that I know I'm presumptuous. But you look very much like a friend of mine from the past. This friend of mine died of illness many years ago. It's the regret of my life. After speaking, Ming Xiao suddenly combed his eyebrows, took out his phone, and laughed at Ryu. But the smile has been many years. I see you. It was as if I had seen that friend of mine again. It's okay if you block me. I just hope to make up for a regret. Xiao Ryu was suddenly a little overwhelmed when she heard this. I'm sorry. That was already finished, but he didn't finish his words. But suddenly I found out. Is looking at his own dust not far away. After seeing the dust far away, Xiao Ryu couldn't help but secretly miss the enemy. His eyes were so cold. It's like a different person. Thinking of Xiao Ryu, who I was about to refuse. But suddenly a little annoyed. What are you doing? I'm not going to add this guy. Why do you look at me like that? Xiao Ryu became more and more angry the more she thought about it at this time. It's okay for you to mess with the relationship yourself. It's like a thief to me. Why? Just add a contact information. Deal. If you don't chat, you can sink away from a sense of crisis. Come to think of this, Xiao Ryu immediately took out her mobile phone and said okay. Since you've said so, let's add it. However, just after Xiao Ryu and Lin Shao added friends to each other, but he suddenly realized Chen Yuan's figure is gone. Suddenly, Xiao Ryu looked around a little uneasily. At the same time, I secretly did it in my heart. True or wrong? Why do I feel bitter? Meanwhile, Chen Yuan was walking briskly towards the door of the exhibition hall. Seeing this, Zhang Haotian hurriedly quickened his pace to keep up. At the same time, he asked Brother Dao Yin, "Do you know that girl?" Chen Yuan Wenxing suddenly stopped. Mo Ran said that he knew before. "I don't know you anymore." As soon as this remark came out, Zhang Haotian was immediately stunned. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly had a playful smile. Said Haotian, "I have all of Lin Shao's car." After speaking, Chen Yuan raised his eyebrows. turned to Zhang Haoyin and smiled lightly. Enough men in order to punish scumbags. He actually expressed his freedom in front of everyone. Just now, Xiao Ruyu was in front of Chen Yuan, friends with the guardian's son. In order to get back on the field, Chen Yuan opened his mouth and gave out 1 billion. Bought the luxury car that Lin Shao ordered. Seeing Zhang Haoyin silent, Chen Yuan spoke again. I know you're in business. Talk about credibility. If I think it's too embarrassing, I don't say it. As soon as this remark came out, Zhang Haoyin hurriedly put his hand on Chen Yuan's shoulders and said with great filial piety, Don't be embarrassed, not embarrassed at all. Lin Shao counted a ball. Is it really 1,000 million? Chen Yin was immediate, but filial piety, of course, a gentleman said. Horses are hard to chase. As soon as I heard this, Zhang Haoyin suddenly blossomed in his heart. It seems that it is for the sake of women to fight for the wind and be jealous. Although it will offend Lin Shao. But you can make 800 million for nothing. This business is a fool's errand. After bringing Chen Yuan into the VIP room, Zhang Haoyin can't help but secretly resist the enemy. Lin Shao is here with me. You can't compare to the 800 million in real money. And Chen Yuan doesn't talk nonsense. As soon as I entered the room, I immediately took out my black card to pay. Then Chen Yuan sat down on the sofa. Then I started to drink the tea slowly. After receiving the money, Zhang Haoyin immediately said with a smile, I received the money from my side. We're happy working together. Brother Yin, do you have any other orders here? Chen Yuan smiled lightly. I really have something I need your help to force the meeting. I want to work all the way to the auto show. Meanwhile, Xiao Ruyu kept looking around in the venue, but he couldn't find Chen Yuan's shadow. He muttered to Chen Yin without secret, Where the hell did you go? That's when it happened. Xiao Ruyu suddenly found out. The staff is moving the piano. He couldn't help but wonder if this was going to be a show. Who wants to play the piano at a good car show? See this. The little quacks around him immediately started to talk. What the hell is this? Special programs. Which manufacturer's press conference is it? I don't know. Let's see what's going on. After a while, Chinning suddenly walked out of the crowd. I sat down at the piano and started playing. Immediately, Xiao Ruyu secretly suppressed Chen Yuan. What is he going to do? Why do you play the piano in a good way? And Chen Yuan's hands kept flying on the keys. Maestro and piano memory. This moment is vividly played. After listening for a while, Xiao Ruyu couldn't help but tremble. I've never heard this song played by Chen Yuan. But this piano sound is so sad. Suddenly, Xiao Ruyu was played by Chen Yuan. Tone gives influence. Began to cry secretly. And the tune played by Chen Yin. The emotions are too heavy. In a slow-paced rendition technique. The melody is graceful to listen to. Tear-jerking. Everyone present was without exception. They all collectively felt a share. The feeling of a fluttering heart. Their love. The thread is pulled along with the flow of the notes. Good listening to the sound of the piano. I thought about who my first love was. Why do you hear him playing the piano? I couldn't help but cry. At this moment, driven by the sound of the piano in the distance. The feelings that everyone has buried deep in their hearts. It broke out completely. It's like a flash flood in a tsunami. The softest part of my heart is touched. And Zhao Yuqi on the side. Without a low sigh, he was silent. He didn't seem to be in a good mood. And Qin Bingxue raised her eyebrows. Guess it's because of the laughing rain just now. Accompanied by a mournful melody. Everyone felt a touch from the soul. At least 30% of the audience was unknowing. Tears have flowed down my eyes. At this time, Xiao Ruyu's mind was in his mind. Kept emerging himself and Chen Yuan. The bits and pieces that have been experienced. He could deeply feel it from Chen Yuan's piano sound. There's a lot of melancholy in it. Grief and bitter disappointment. Not for a while. Chen Yuan's fingers slowly stopped. The end of the song. But everyone's hearts couldn't be at peace for a long time. Followed by Chen Yuan suddenly stood up from his chair. Then the face was full of indifference, and coldly turned to Xiao Ruoyu. Then Chen Yuan suddenly said that he loved someone. It's time to set him free, even if you earn a lot of holes. You're free now. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Ruoyu immediately froze in place. Didn't wait for Xiao Ruoyu to speak. Chen Yuan directly turned around and left directly. Seeing that Chen Yuan was about to give up his rhythm, Xiao Ruoyu suddenly cried urgently. He hurriedly said goodbye to Chen Yuan. I'm wrong. Don't leave me alone. Blew up. Anti-scumbag league. Now he has fallen into the realm of remorse. The ground is just now. Chen Yuan was in full view. It means to give weakness and freedom. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Ruoyu suddenly panicked. He hurriedly opened his mouth and said goodbye to Chen Yuan. I'm wrong. Don't leave me alone. Seeing that Chen Yuan didn't care about his retention at all, Xiao Ruoyu was immediately anxious. He hurriedly shouted out loud, Chen Yuan, don't go. That's when it happened. Zhang Haoyin suddenly held a document, standing in his way. Please stay. You are Ms. Xiao Ruoyu. Xiao Ruoyu saw that Zhang Haoyin actually blocked herself. He frowned. I wondered what was wrong with me. Zhang Hao immediately raised his eyebrows. Take out the file and say yes. Mr. Yin bought the whole field just now. The most expensive Lamborghini poison for you. This is a purchase contract. Please check it out. Xiao Ruoyu's voice immediately trembled. The contract was really a car purchase agreement. Xiao Ruoyu immediately took over the contract. In the heart of the secret channel. Is he here to give me a gift? Immediately, he hurriedly asked about the car. Did Chen Yuan buy it for me? Zhang Hao Tianwen immediately frowned, nodding yes. It was personally selected and given to you by Mr. Yin. Speaking of this, Zhang Haoyin suddenly sighed. Mr. Yin picked the most expensive one at a glance. The shot is really generous. The affection is really deep. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Ruoyu immediately cried secretly. I was touched in my heart. He was always unconditionally good to me. But what did I do for Chen Yuan? Come to think of this, Xiao Ruoyu immediately regretted it. Why did not so long ago? I'm actually for a little cleverness. Undermined his trust in me. Suddenly, Xiao Ruoyu couldn't hold back. Straight to the ground. In full view. He began to cry loudly. And Zhao Yuqi and Qin Bingxue saw this. I couldn't help but shake my head, opened his mouth and said, Young lady, don't cry. Calm down. That's when it happened. Zhang Haoyin suddenly looked at the document in his hand. He spoke again, and Miss Zhao and Miss Qin. The tattoos of the two are not stunned. And Zhang Haoyin handed over the document. At the same time he spoke. The editor also bought one for each of you. Tens of millions of luxury cars. This is a contract for the purchase of a car. As soon as this remark came out. 3. The woman's heart suddenly burst into the same way. Then they looked at each other with melancholy faces. After running for a while, Qin Bingxue sighed at this time. It seems that Chun Yin has known for a long time. We're already engaged in tandem things. Zhao Yuqi also frowned slightly. Exclaimed yes. But even then he didn't suspect us. Pay for us. Speaking of which, the three of them turned around without passing together. Look in the direction where Chun was far away. Qin Bingxue was sad again. He sees through it, but he doesn't say it. Carefully maintaining the balance of our relationship, even if it is a flower heart. He also treats each of us with sincerity. Zhao Yuqi Wenxing immediately nodded in agreement. He always did. Silently give for others. But he didn't ask for anything in return. Qin Bingxue couldn't help it. I was ashamed of what I had done before. He was always so reliable. Actually, it's always misunderstood by me. But they still guard me. At this time, Xiao Ruoyu had already cried into a tearful person. He wept as he spoke. While opening his mouth, Chen Yan's personality is so magnificent. But I'm for some worldly eyes. The partnership intends to scam him out of money. I'm so ugly. Immediately, the system remembered to mention Zhao Yuqi's favorability. Jiai's current favorability is 99 points. At this time, Zhao Yuqi's heart has been firmly pulled by the dust. His mind is full of everything that Chen Yuan has done for himself. Meanwhile, Qin Bingshue's favorability also increased. 99 o'clock arrived. Though Qin Bingxue and Chen Yuan have known each other for less than half a month. But Chen Yuan was good to himself during this time. It was still deep in his mind. And Xiao Ruoyu's opinion has also been increased to 99. His mind was full of remorse. Regret that you will actually destroy Chen Yuan's trust in himself. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan had already gotten into a taxi and listened to the constant sound of prompts coming out of your head. After learning that the three daughters are now favorable, reached 99 points, Chen Yuan couldn't help but be secretly proud. It's 100 points away. The 1 billion was not spent in vain. Come to think of this, Izumi was not startled and raised Erlang's legs. I was secretly looking forward to it. After breaking through 100 points, what kind of reward will the system give me? Dai Jinyu, after changing his mind, even said that he wanted to chase Chen Yuan. Even gave Chen Yuan a set. Beautifully decorated house. Just now, Chen Yuan was full of energy. After breaking through the favorability of the three girls to 99 points, returned to Hu Dazhong. Early the next morning, Xiaoruoyu will give it. Chen Yuan sent a message begging for forgiveness. And Chen Yuan said indifferently, "Let's calm down for a while. I'd like to wait for myself." After replying to the message, Chen Yuan couldn't help but be secretly proud. Let him talk about it for a few days. Otherwise, I would have thought I had no temper. Women can't get used to it. Just as Chen Yuan was strolling, behind him, a familiar girl suddenly came. Chen Yuan, is really you. This time, it was Chen Yuan. Su Lele, who hasn't been ignored for a long time. I saw Su Lele dress casually. Suddenly smiled. Look at it from afar. Feel like you. Sure enough, it's you. It's been a long time since I've seen my brother far away. Seeing this, Chen Yuan couldn't help, but secretly can't make enemies to Su Lele. How do you feel like he's a little different today? Immediately, Chen Yuan opened his mouth to say Lele. I've been a bit busy lately. But before Chen Yuan finished speaking, Su Lele suddenly grabbed his hand violently. Interrupt him directly. Followed by, Su Lele dragged Chen Yuan away with a happy face. The colleague said Chen Yuan with a smile. It's the same if you come with me, and I'll take you to see it. The old eyes of things are half pushed and half done. I'm thinking about where to go in the waterway. But Su Lele didn't explain. Instead, he showed a mysterious expression. Just come with me. Wen Yin, Chen couldn't help frowning slightly. I secretly guessed in my heart what he was going to do. Could it be that he fancied a brand-name bag again? Do you want me to buy it? You women, they only think of me when they are short of money. I'd like to see what you sell in your gourd. Not for a while. Su Lele dragged Chen Yuan out of the back door of the school. Entered the love community next door. For Su Lele, a typical gold-worshipping girl. Chen Yuan, I don't want to have too much communication anymore. It's not just a little impatient about what the hell you're going to do. But Su Lele was mysteriously appeased. Brother Yuan, don't worry. I've got a surprise for you. Immediately afterwards, Su Lele took out the key and opened the door. Took Chen Yuan and walked inside. What catches your eye is a well-decorated house. It's luxurious, but the style is elegant. On the walls of the whole room, it was all dusty sketches. It seems to be painted by Su Lele himself. There is the appearance of winning when the dust is far away. Yu Chen is far away from playing basketball, which is like a violent dunk. He looks like he goes to the mall, and the way he drives a luxury car, and the way he eats and cuts his hair. All kinds of looks were drawn. Chen Yuan suddenly became a little fierce. What's going on? Immediately, he was amazed at the fact that you had drawn all of them. Seeing this, Su Lele couldn't help but brush his hair. But the smile is yes. I just bought this house. The living room is a bit empty. I'm going to make some sketches of myself. Hung up. Wenyin Chen Yuan immediately smiled and said that it was good. Is this what you surprised me? And Su Lele's cheeks suddenly turned black and red. The paintings are just casual. That's what I painted. Su Lele's face suddenly turned straight. He said with a serious face, the surprise I want to give you is this house. This house is my gift to you. As soon as this remark came out, Chen Yuan immediately became violent. It's completely fierce. Immediately, his brow furrowed. A look full of surprise asked about the house. You mean this house was given to me? Seeing this, Su Lele hurriedly nodded and said in the middle of the road, yes. You lent me money last time, after helping my dad wake up the debt collectors. Speaking of this, Su Lele suddenly felt a sense on his face. Chen Yuan, who was excited, spoke again. Our family has also survived this difficult time. This one is starting to get better. After the situation at home is better. I also began to reflect on my former self and said this. Su Lele suddenly shook his head. To put it bluntly, I was too vain and selfish in the past. It's completely a money worshiper. It's normal for my brother to look down on me. And Chen Yuan listened silently. He didn't expect his unintentional move actually made Su Lele change so much. Followed by, Su Lele suddenly stretched out his hand towards Chen Yuan. Laughed. I want to be a girl who can be worthy of you. Then pursue you again. Chen Yuan. The man wanted to repay Su Lele for the house he sent. Going to take him to dinner. I didn't expect it. Was bumped into by Qin Bingxue, who had just returned to the door. Just now, Su Lele is wearing. Chen Yuan came to the house he had carefully decorated. Actually said that he wanted to give this house to Chen Yuan, and they will chase him backwards. Old. Seeing that Su Lele wanted to give his own room seriously. The son immediately said in his heart, is this still a gold worshipper Su Lele? He actually wanted to give me a sweet. Chen Yin couldn't help scratching his head. He said that he pursued me, but it seems a bit expensive to give me the house directly. Su Lele saw this. He immediately smiled slightly. You borrowed 5 million from me. This house is only more than 3 million. It's my distant brother who takes advantage. Speaking of this, Su Lele suddenly grabbed Chen Yuan's hand. Hand him the key. At the same time, he said, I asked your roommate Xiong Tao. He said you keep going out early and coming home late. There is no place to stay outside the school except for the dormitory. So I bought this house. A house is nothing to you, but it's also the limit of what I can repay you. Looking at the key in your hand, Chen Yuan couldn't help but smile slightly. In my heart, I secretly said that this is the case. I said that Su Lele hadn't contacted me recently. It turned out to be holding back the big move. In the dusty edge bound to a few girls. Su Lele's family conditions are at the bottom. Xiao Ruoyu, Zhao Yuqi, and others were not born in the Shangliu family without intention. And Su Lele is not only in the middle of the road. Even in the end, the father lost everything because of gambling. Even in debt. Come to think of this, Chen Yin couldn't help but put up a faint smile. In the heart, there can be such a decision. Although it was a little clever. It's kind of like I think about it. Chen Yin simply accepted it, since this is the case. Then I'll take it. Your gift today is really a pleasant surprise. As soon as the words fell, his phone rang suddenly. After the call is connected. Immediately, the voice of the roommate was heard. It's time for dinner in the evening. Moon 9th floor. It's almost time for the holidays. Let's have a meal. When Chen Yuan heard this, he simply nodded and said that there was no problem. I'll be there later. Then Chen Yuan invited Su Lele to Lele. I had dinner with my roommates in the evening. Come with me. After all, Su Lele gave him a sweet. There's an appointment just right. Chen Yuan called him by the way. But Su Lele obviously doesn't think so. He felt that his efforts had finally paid off. Chen Yuan took him to dinner with his roommate. It's the rhythm to blend into the circle. Immediately, he hurriedly agreed. Is it true? Great. The system immediately sounded a prompt tone. Su Leilei's favorability is one good. Thinking of Chen Yuan, he actually took the initiative. Take yourself into his private circle. Su Leilei suddenly became secretly excited. It's so good that he has me in his heart. Immediately, it sounded again. The system prompts Su Leilei's current favorability of 96 points. The host gains boost points over time. Wenqing Chun, Yin couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Secretly proud in my heart. Su Leilei Island is not a simple woman. It's time for a big catfish in the fish pond. I'd like to see. You can make this pool muddy. Looked at Su Leilei, who was busy touching up his makeup. Chen Yuan couldn't help but smile expectantly. I secretly said in my heart, don't let me down, Sister Leilei. Meanwhile, Qin Bingxue took a taxi, returned to the door of the community. He was found out at the thought of his involvement in the alliance. And Chen Yuan also gave himself one. Tens of millions of luxury cars. And it was flooded. Qin Bingxue, who received tens of millions of luxury cars. But he sat in a taxi, sighed silently. Chen Yuan actually gave me such an expensive car. But I still have to take a taxi. Immediately, Qin Bingxue silently wailed in his heart. I don't even have a driver's license. I can't open it either. That's when it happened. The driver on the side suddenly interrupted Ms. Dao. The place you said is 24 blocks, you can scan the code. However, just when Qin Bingxue was about to scan the code to pay, found that a man and a woman not far away were quite familiar. Looking at the dust edge that was held by another woman's arm, Qin Bingxue's face suddenly changed. In his heart, he said that this is not Chen Yuan. Who's that woman? After seeing Su Leilei's appearance clearly, Qin Bingxue immediately felt a pang in his heart. That's not the courtesans that art schools are known for. Su Leilei. They were actually together. See this scenario. Qin Bingxue suddenly couldn't sit still. He hurriedly and anxiously said to the driver, help me keep up. I paid double the fare for that car. A nod in front of the car. Qin Bingxue looked at the two people who got into the car. I couldn't help frowning. Tell me the sixth sense in my heart. Something must have happened. Woman at a party actually admitted that he was chasing Chen Yuan and said that he also gave him a sweet. And these astonishing words, immediately it will follow. Qin Bingxue was stunned. Just now, Chen Yuan, after accepting the house given by Su Leilei. So they took him with him to dinner. And Qin Bingxue, who was accidentally discovered. Immediately, a driver followed the two. Soon, Chen Yuan took Su Leilei to the Moon Restaurant. Moon Restaurant. It is a special restaurant full of literary atmosphere. Saw Chen Yuan and the others enter the restaurant. Qin Bingxue frowned and said, I just wanted to eat. I thought I was going to the hotel. The driver on the side hurriedly reminded, that beauty. Can you pay for the car in advance? As soon as I heard this, Qin Bingxue's cheeks suddenly turned red. Hurriedly took out his mobile phone and apologized, sorry. Master, I'll scan the code. Then Qin Bingxue got out of the taxi, walked straight into the Moon Restaurant. At the same time, he muttered to himself, I want to see it. What tricks does Chen Yuan want to play? After seeing Chen Yuan come in, Xiong Tao hurriedly said hello. The atom is here. And the old marquee on the side. It's a little depressing. The woman behind the atom is a little familiar. Xiong Tao heard this. Make a deposit right away. Looked at the girl beside Chen Yuan. After seeing Su Leilei's smile on his face, he held it behind Chen Ren's hand. I can't help but feel a little depressed, and it's really a little familiar. The next moment, the old monkey suddenly came back to his senses and reminded him to lie in the groove. Isn't that Su Leilei, the school flower of the Academy of Arts? Xiong Tao immediately became envious and jealous. Atoms are damned. Why are there so many beauties around? And Chen Yuan came to the two of them. Suddenly, he frowned and challenged filial piety. Sorry for being late. Subsequently, Chen Yuan introduced Lele to Su Lele. These are my roommates. I guess I've seen them all? As soon as this remark came out, Somming roommates immediately went from left to right. Start introducing yourself. I'm Chao Jingyan. I'm Xiong Tao. I'm Lao Ho. The whole performance, Wen Sheng immediately smiled. Again, I'll introduce you. This is Su Lele. Lao Ho's face was suddenly full of excitement, so don't introduce it. Even if he turns to ashes, I know him. As soon as this remark came out, Xiong Tao immediately pressed the old monkey on the table. Interrupt. Old monkey. What are you talking nonsense? The old monkey means. Who doesn't know the school flower Su Lele? At this moment, Chao Jingyan suddenly raised her eyebrows. Then he said solemnly to the two, "What is the relationship between the two of you now?" As soon as this remark came out, Chun Yin and Su Lele were stunned for a moment. This question really stopped the two of them. Even Xiong Tao and Lao Ho couldn't help but read the road. Looked at Chao Jingyan sluggishly. Chao Jingyan, who already knew that he had said the wrong thing, immediately panicked. And yet at this moment, Su Lele suddenly raised the corners of his mouth. A silver bell-like laugh erupted, followed by. Su Lele put on a nerve-wracking expression. What does it matter? I don't know. It should be me chasing Chen Yuan Bao. But Chen Yuan hasn't promised me yet. Speaking of which, Su Lele suddenly spoke again with a slightly red cheek. Everyone gave Brother Yuan a house. He's still talking about thinking about it. My life is so miserable. As soon as this remark came out, Xiong Tao and the three of them immediately exploded the pot. Really fake. Sent the house, but Chun Yuan Wenxing was silent. Directly put on a posture of deep merit and fame. I slowly tasted the coffee. Seeing this, Xiong Tao and the three of them immediately exclaimed, "Adam Town's charm is a little scary. I don't dare to write like this on the internet. This is simply a male succubus." That's when it happened. There was another table not far from the crowd. Suddenly there was a commotion. Coffee spills are everywhere on the table. And Chen Yin and the others were not shocked when they heard it. Surprised, he looked into the distance. And Qin Bingxue, who was in a hurry. I can't help but secretly say bad in my heart. If it's miserable, it won't be discovered. I heard it. Su Lele gave Chun Rin Qin Bingxue, who gave the house. Immediately, the pot exploded in my heart. Send the house. This woman actually gave Chun Rin a suite. Come to think of this, Qin Bingxue couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed in his heart. I thought about it. Now think about it. Chen Yuan has done so much for me. I don't seem to have reciprocated him. And so on. My impression in Chen Yuan's heart will get lower and lower. And he will accumulate a lot. Completely gain the upper hand. Immediately, Qin Bingxue hurriedly turned on his mobile phone to send a message. At the same time, it was secretly decided that it would not work. This woman is a fierce enemy. Gotta inform the other sisters quickly. Followed by, Qin Bingxue posted a message in the group. Chen Yuan and a woman named Su Lele. Eating at the Moon restaurant. Su Lele seems to have given Chen Yuan a suite. As soon as this remark came out, Zhao Yuqi and Qian Mingming were immediately confused. And Xiao Ryu replied to the Moon restaurant in seconds. Yes, I'll come right over. The man had just finished eating with a beautiful woman, but who expected to just walk out of the door. Met Xiao Ryu, who came to find him. Just now, Qin Bingxue, who followed Chen Yuan all the way. After seeing Chen Yuan take Su Lele to eat together, hurriedly sent the news to the group. After the people had eaten and drunk enough, Xiong Tao exchanged for the waiter to prepare the checkout. But the waiter came to Su Lele's side. Hello, sir. The list of this table has already been settled. Xiong Tao and Yin was stunned for a moment. Lele, what are you? But Su Lele put on a white head. I met today with a smile. You're having a good time. It's just the price of a meal. Don't worry. Chen Yuan saw this. Hurriedly said to Su Lele. That's embarrassing. I turned the money around. Su Lele heard this. Immediately prayed to Chen Yuan Mei for Brother Yuan. Do you have to meet me like that? Didn't you give me several bags too? What's wrong with having a meal? After speaking, Su Lele didn't give Chen Yuan a chance to speak again. Get up first and turn to leave. Bai Shoudao still has something to do with my internet cafe. Go back first. By Chen Yuan. I couldn't help but raise my eyebrows. In my heart, I secretly said that high-level players are different. Retreat is advance. Su Lele is scheming. But it's not annoying. Then everyone got up and walked out of the door. Lao Ho and the others couldn't help but sigh atomically. You're a great blesser. And Qin Bingxue, who was hiding not far away. I can't help but secretly can't make enemies in my heart. It's breathtaking. It is worthy of respecting the enemy. I can't learn this kind of trick. Come to think of this. Qin Bingxue couldn't help frowning. If you say before, he is a family in my heart, then now he can fully reach the S rank. Meanwhile, the crowd had just walked out of the door of the hotel. Lao Ho couldn't wait to put his hand on Chen Yuan's shoulder. Open passage, Adams. You're a pickled girl. When will it be passed from person to person? Chen Yuan was not shocked when he heard this. But laugh. Meaningful about this. I dare to teach, but you don't dare to learn. And Lao Ho's face suddenly turned straight. With a serious face, he said that he was not joking. Su Lele's previous reputation in school was not very good. It is said that he worships the skins. Life is a mess or something. But after contact, I think this girl is pretty good. You have to really get along with others. Don't break people's hearts. Chen Yanwenyan immediately raised his eyebrows. With a weird smile, Lao Ho, don't worry. Am I the kind of person who cares about it? When Lao Ho heard this, he said, immediately patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder. Hit the road, who knows you, kid. And at this very moment, suddenly, a group of students from the Hu University Sports Institute came up. After Chen Yuan saw the appearance of this group of students clearly, I couldn't help but feel a little surprised. The leader of that group of students was Li Yang. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly discuss that it was Li Yang. Did he come to eat too? At the same time that Chen Yuan saw Li Yang also saw Chen Yuan. However, the relationship between the two is not good. They all tacitly agreed that they didn't see it. Just passed by. They didn't even say hello to each other. After passing by, the corners of Li Yang's mouth couldn't help but rise. A smug smile darkened in my heart. Chun Yin probably didn't know that I was making a small report. I'm burnt out. I don't know who's calling. That's so cool. That's when it happened. A brand new black Rolls-Royce Phantom, suddenly driven, stopped at the gate of the Moon restaurant. After seeing this luxury car, the little quacks immediately exclaimed in surprise. This is a Rolls-Royce Phantom. The car sold for more than 9 million. It can be encountered in reality. Followed by, the door of the Rolls-Royce Phantom slammed open. A fair-skinned Jade Clan was the first to poke out of it. Subsequently, Xiao Ryu hurriedly walked out of the car. His face was gloomy and terrifying at this time. Apparently, the mood has been extremely bad, and Li Yang recognized Xiao Ryu after that. I can't help but feel like a nymphomaniac, secretly suppressed in his heart that it was Xiao Ryu. How did he come? Looked at Xiao Ryu's appearance in a hurry, and walked straight to Chen Yuan with a black face. Li Yang secretly guessed. Could it be that he came to settle accounts with Chen Yuan? Come to think of this, Li Yang couldn't help but gloat a little, because Chen Yuan overturned. So the next plot should be Xiao Ryu slapped Chen Yuan in the face. Sure enough, things turned out as he expected. Xiao Ryu really rushed towards Chen Yuan. It's a pity that he guessed the beginning, but I didn't guess the end. I saw Xiao Ryu, pear blossoms with rain. His eyes were slightly reddened, and he hugged Chen Yuan. My colleague cried and said, Chen Yuan, I was wrong. Forgive me. Man, the front foot just accepted the tens of millions of dollars sent by Xiao Ryu. He called Qin Bingxue at the back of the car. and in front of Xiao Ruoyu. Take Qin Bingxue for a ride. Just now, Xiao Ruoyu hurried to the 9th floor of the moon, and the pair blossom-hugged Chen Yuan with rain. Crying Chen Yuan, "Forgive me for my mistake." Seeing that the dust was far away, he was silent. Weakened with immediate, extremely humble, he continued to plead. "I really know it's wrong. I've deleted that person's friend. Just forgive me this time." See this scenario. Xiong Tao and the three of them exploded immediately. Oh my God, where this kid came from. Not only is it white and rich, also put by Fumixin's obedience well, master, and Li Yang is stupid. The mentality is completely broken. He was secretly annoyed. How could this be? I think this is different. Why is my goddess like a licking dog? And Chen Yin, but to Xiao Ruoyu's pitiful appearance. I don't buy it. He interrupted in a cold tone, and there was nothing wrong with that. We weren't in a special relationship either. I really don't have the right to interfere with your freedom of friendship. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Ruoyu suddenly became anxious. He hurriedly ran to Chen Yuan, explained that this is not the case. "I'm going to the auto show today. I chose a gift for you. Not sure why things are the way they are." Speaking of this, Xiao Ruoyu hurriedly grabbed Chen Yuan's hand. "Except for the ones you bought. The most expensive is this Rolls-Royce Phantom." After speaking, Xiao Ruoyu, directly on the Rolls-Royce Phantom car. The key was stuffed into Chen Yuan's hand. Immediately afterwards, Xiao Ruoyu suddenly approached Chen Yuan. He pleaded, "I know you don't care about money, but that's my apology. Please take it." Seeing this, Li Yang was almost so angry that he vomited blood. His heart was already aching at this point. I couldn't help but start roaring, "Why? Why is this happening?" He pedaled several boats. "You're willing to stick to him upside down. I love you so much, and you never look at me." And Chen Yuan looked at the car keys in his hand. I couldn't help but be slightly stunned. In the heart of the secret channel, Xiao Ruoyu actually knows how to give. Also reigned in the eldest lady's temper and improved. Immediately, Chen Yuan put away the car keys. A grim smile was revealed. "It's a pity that I don't believe in love anymore. I won't give up the whole forest for you. You have to accept that reality as well. I took the car. I don't want you to be ugly." After speaking, Chen Yuan suddenly, towards Qin Bingxue, who was hiding in the crowd and watching the excitement, opened her mouth and said, "Sister Qin Shui, let's hide for a long time. Come over here, and I'll take you for a ride." As soon as this remark came out, everyone was immediately shocked. It was too much. It's just too much. Even 3 roommates. I also feel that Chen Yuan is a bit inch. And Qin Bingxue came to the Rolls-Royce Phantom Hall. Immediately, his face was difficult to see. "Chen Yuan, this was not very good. This car was given to you by Miss Xiao. You should take her for a ride too." But Chen Yuan only laughed lightly, in a strong and unquestionable tone. I opened my mouth and said that it was not mine. "I can take whoever I want. Get in the car, stop talking nonsense." Seeing that Chen Yuan's attitude was so tough, Bingxue hesitated for a moment. I sat down anyway. Complain about sitting down. So what is the murderer doing? Soon Qin Bingxue got into the car, and Chen Yuan began to familiarize himself with the new car. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan slammed the accelerator, driving a Rolls-Royce Phantom, took Qin Bingxue away from the dust. Chen Yuan's behavior of not showing mercy to the jade completely stunned everyone. The front foot received someone else. Of luxury cars, the hind foot drove away with the other girl. It's a beast. Liang watched Chen Yuan drive away. I finally mustered up the courage to come over. Don't be sad if it rains. Chen Yuan, this dog thing, is simply fluttering. You give him a car. He actually left you on the side of the road and went for a ride with others. He's an iron beast man. Xiao Ruo and Wen Yin immediately turned around. Li Yang said coldly, with a dissatisfied face, "If you don't say bad things about Chen Yuan, you'll die, right? You don't understand at all. How much did Chen Yuan pay for me? Li Yangwenyan's heart was suddenly heartbroken. He immediately said with an affectionate face, "Not Ruoyu. I'm for your good." Xiao Ryu really felt that Li Yang was sick at this time. He immediately frowned. "Stand up and say what the rain is hot. Is it you able to call the rain? I don't need your comment on the matter between me and Chen Yuan. Even if he breaks me, it's my business." Xiao Ryu was not sad at all at this time. It's just because Chen Yuan is bringing Qin Bingxue. And Qin Bingxue is still a copper. Xiao Ryu felt that Chen Yuan must be angry with him. "That's what I did on purpose. It means that he still cares about me." A man who is dead set on love actually took the initiative to admit that he was in the system. Just now, Chen Yu drove the car sent by Xiao Ruoyu, but he walked away from Qin Bingxue, who was watching. Xiao Ruoyu, who can be left behind. But I didn't feel sad. Instead, he felt that Chen Yuan was deliberately angry with him. It shows that Chen Yuan still cares about himself. In Chen Yuan, he drove a Rolls-Royce Phantom. When taking Qin Bingxue for a ride, Qin Bingxue said Chen Yuan without doubt. "That's why this is for Miss Xiao." Chen Yuan, on the other hand, concentrated on driving. "It's nothing to be indifferent." Then Chen Yuan paused. Then he raised an eyebrow. "Moran, it may be that he did not become what I expected. It's just a bit of a disappointment. It may not be him who is at fault. It's that I, Qin Bingxue, heard this. I can't help but be a little curious, although I don't know what's going on. But you still care about him. Your high school classmates. Is he your first love?" Chen Yuan immediately denied 10 mouthfuls of fish balls like me. "There is no first love." Qin Bingxue immediately snorted coldly. "Believe you a ghost man." That's when it happened. Qin Bingxue's face suddenly turned straight. "It seems that a decision was made to become a guitar," asked Chen Yuan with a serious face, "right?" "Chen Yuan, I'm going to ask you a question next. You must think about it and answer me seriously." Chen Yuan immediately paralyzed his hands. Put on a fearless look. Staring at Qin Bingxue, you asked, and Qin Bingxue involuntarily avoided Chen Yuan's gaze. Asked, "Why did you give me carp? 1 billion shares of technology companies. What the hell do you think of me?" And Chen Yuan smiled and said hard, "You want to hear the truth? Or a lie?" As soon as this remark came out, Qin Bingxue immediately exploded. "I told you to be serious." He's serious. Because he needed to know Chen Yuan's attitude. But Chen Yuan suddenly turned his head to look out the window. Replied, "I don't have any thoughts about you. Gives you shares. It's just to win your favor." Qin Bingshue's logical thinking is calm. I wouldn't believe Chen Yuan's nonsense at all. He immediately asked, "I don't believe you don't think much of me. Then why win my favor? Isn't that a paradox?" Chen Yuan smiled faintly. "I just solved it for the sake of completing the task." As soon as I heard this, Qin Bingxue was immediately stunned. He couldn't help but look strange, and the enemy couldn't fall into the mission. What a task! But Chen Yuan suddenly breaks suddenly. I pulled over and pulled over. Then Chen Yuan suddenly fell into a brief silence. Then he opened his mouth with a serious face and told you the truth. "I want to complete a system task. I have a system that gives me 9,000 trillion in money. Spend as much as you want. How to spend you is one of my goals. This 1 billion is just a drop in the bucket. What to fuss about?" It was obvious that Qin Bingxue confessed to Chen Yuan. He said he didn't even believe in punctuation. He was immediately annoyed to Chen Yuan. "Can you please stop kidding? If you want to make up a story, you can make it up a little more reliable. What a mission system for this old-fashioned setting. I didn't write any online articles." As soon as he heard this, Chen Yuan was very melancholy. Sometimes no one believes the truth. He had no choice but to roll his eyes helplessly. "Nonsense, okay. I admit it's because you're pretty. So you are paid money in order to trick you into getting laid. You're satisfied." As soon as this remark came out, Qin Bingxue, who was sitting in the car, was immediately stunned. He didn't expect Chen Yuan to say it so bluntly. Moment, Qin Bingshue's cheeks suddenly turned red to his neck. I couldn't help but mutter to him. If the other party is Chen Yuan, it doesn't seem impossible, seeing that Qin Bingxue finally stopped asking. Chen Yuan couldn't help but complain secretly with a strange face. I remember not being like this before. Silent. How to be like a curious baby now. Looking at the iceberg beauty from before. Qin Bingxue, whose image is diametrically opposed. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly guess. Is this the contrast? Men are just spending money on a blind meal. But he was mistaken for being a living zhuge. It was just around 9 o'clock in the evening. Chen Yuan drove Qin Bingxue back to Qin Yuan community. He then drove back to Nanqing's dormitory, packed up a little bit, and moved into a new home. And Qin Bingxue stood in front of the window in a daze. Look at the dust and go away. Seeing that Chen Yuan did not choose to stay. Qin Bingxue frowned slightly. This Chen Yuan. It's a mouthful of flowers every time. But I never really did it. Weird. If it's really like what he says. If you want to trick me into getting laid. Obviously, there are many opportunities. And the money he spent, it's enough for countless girls to throw themselves into their arms. Come to think of this. Qin Bingxue frowned slightly. I still think Chen Yuan's purpose is not simple. Qin Bingxue was in the middle of his mind. There was a flash of the joke that Chen Yuan said to himself. Suddenly he was a little confused. And yet at this moment, Xiao Ruyu suddenly called him. After it is turned on, the phone came out immediately. Xiao Ruiyu's anxious voice. Sister Bingxue, are you and Chen Yuan back? And Qin Bingxue is indifferent, and the hard way is like rain. Chen Yuan, he has already gone back. In the end, Xiao Ruyu said that she didn't care. But there's still a bit of a hedgehog in my heart. Subsequently, Xiao Ruyu hurriedly asked on the other end of the phone. Miss Qin, I have a reluctant request. If it's convenient for you, can you tell me? Did Chen Yuan talk to you about anything in the car? Did you mention me? As soon as I heard this, Qin Bingxue was suddenly a little excited. That's how I asked. But he didn't seem to want to talk about it. So I didn't ask too much. By the way, I asked him something today. I think it's weird and I can't figure it out. Speaking of which, Qin Bingxue directly expressed the doubts in his heart. I wonder if I want to know. Why did Chen Yuan invest in carp technology? Give me back the shares. He said it was because he had a crush on me. But I always feel like it's an exaggeration. I don't think I'm worth 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Ruo in his heart suddenly made a matrix. He immediately said, You said that. Members have told me similar questions. But I also feel his gain is completely disproportionate to his effort. It's so perverse. Could it be that he is playing a big game of chess? Spending money like crazy from him on the live streaming platform. The name of Mr. Yen began. His layout is far-reaching. Maybe all of us are pawns in his hands. He went step by step, every step of the way. First of all, the capital disappeared. Then there was the acquisition of Big Cat TV. It also invested in carp technology. On the surface, he is a loser. It's actually strategizing. The highest benefit was obtained at the lowest cost. In the midst of strategizing, thousands of miles away, Qin Bingxue, after listening to Xiao Ruiyu's explanation, I was immediately shocked. He couldn't help but open his mouth wide. We carp technology. Indeed, a while ago, a new AI was developed. Intelligent algorithms. Chen Yuan took a fancy to this potential. That's why you invested? As soon as I heard this, Xiao Ruyu suddenly realized. That's right, this is Chen Yuan. Travel to create a business territory for yourself. I understand. Everything works. Xiao Ruyu couldn't help but guess more and more when she thought about it. So greedy flowers and lust are all his disguises, in order not to expose their business intentions and set the smoke grenades. It may well be so. At this time, Xiao Ruyu felt Chen Yuan's resourcefulness. It has reached the same height as zhuge in the world. He felt that this man was really a wise and forbidden demon. Have no bottom. If this situation is formed once formed, maybe for the present, the internet business system has been formed. It's all a violent shock. He couldn't help but guess. Will Chen Yuan be the man who changed the world? That's when it happened. Xiao Ruyu's mobile phone suddenly received a message. He hurriedly said that there was a message. Miss Qin, wait a minute. It was a message from Zhao Yuqi, Sister Ruoyu. Didn't my company prepare for the opening? I remember you were the landlord of Jin Mao Tower. You can rent a floor to my mother. The price is good to say. And Xiao Ruoyu simply agreed. Just after Xiao Ruoyu replied to the message, he suddenly remembered. Isn't carp technology also in Jin Mao Tower? Could it be a coincidence? Combined with previous speculation, Xiao Ruoyu felt that he might buy Jin Mao Tower. It's also part of the layout. Come to think of this, he couldn't help but take a cool breath. Could it be that this is also arranged by Chen Yuan? After offending Chen Yuan, the woman was born. Not only did the company go out of business, but it was heavily in debt. And it is also given by the person who is already engaged. Cruel abandonment. Just now, Chen Yuan, who had been remembered, returned to the dormitory. I haven't had time to pack my things yet. And he sneezed and sneezed. Immediately, Chen Yuan looked puzzled. After the secret passage in my heart was strengthened, I was basically immune to all diseases. Why are you still sneezing? Is anyone talking about me? Then Chen Yuan suddenly clapped his hands. The face is straight. He spoke to his roommates. All eyes are on me. I'm announcing something. Seeing this, Lao Ho couldn't help but wonder what to do. This is a critical moment. And Chen Yuan suddenly raised his eyebrows. Jean smiled and said that I had decided to move out. As soon as this remark came out, Xiong Tao and the three of them immediately exploded the pot. Is the kid going to move so soon? Followed by, the three of them hurriedly hugged Chen Yuan's thighs. Wail up. Adam, are you going to move into the house sent by Su Lele? No, I'm going to be in love. Haven't taught us how to pick up girls yet. And Chen Yuan stroked his hair very pretendedly. Indifferent to this can't be taught. The key is appearance. Meanwhile, Zhao Yuqi's villa is inside after confirming the venue. He finally took the first step in his career. And as Zhao Yuqi's former military Mengming, immediately reminded Kiki with excitement on his face. Now you've got the venue done. Big Cat TV has also entered the preparatory stage. It's time to start recruiting for job postings. Zhao Yuqi. Wen Yin immediately opened his eyebrows and smiled. I decided. The first talent to recruit is you. You are the executive planner of the company. I'll call Xiaofei when the time comes. We sisters are of the same heart. Qian Mingming's words. I immediately got up in a hurry. I could. But in terms of salary. And Zhao Yuqi, who has a lot of money, seeing that Qian Mingming agreed to come down, immediately arrogant to rest assured. Yours is the salary you need. Zhao Yuqi fell into thought. But then again, what we are most lacking now is professionals, especially in the field of live broadcasting. Qian Mingming Wen Yin immediately reminded. Aren't you a streamer? Flip through your phone. See if there's a suitable candidate. As soon as this remark came out, Zhao Yuqi's mind immediately. A figure flashed. You say that there is one. It's the owner of a live broadcast company. But it seems that someone who offended went bankrupt. It is said that it is having a miserable time now. Meanwhile, inside a cafe somewhere in Seoul, suddenly, Shin Shi's angry voice came out. Get out of here. I saw the angry Shin Shi slamming a glass of water, dragged on the body of a little white-faced. And the little white face really didn't care about it. Let me go. Do you think you're still the same person you used to be? Do I still need to look at your face now? Shin Shi's words came out. Shin Shi. The whole person suddenly began to tremble. He couldn't believe it at all. Once obedient and well-behaved. It's tough. Immediately, Shin Shi's face was full of annoyance, and Chi Hadao's surname was Zhou. You eat mine and live mine. We're all engaged now. What does it mean that you are going to break up now? The little white-faced Wen spread his hands and laughed. Yes. I'm just going to break up. You're gone now. Hiding from debts all day long. Can't give me the life I want. A man's youth is short. You're so old. You can't give it to me. Others can give. You can only blame yourself for not trying hard enough. Followed by. The little white face turned around decisively and said goodbye with a white head. Until I'm gone. But I bought it. I guess you don't have any money in your pocket to settle the bill. Bye goodbye, Annie. After the little white face left, the little quack of onlookers. Immediately, there was a lot of discussion. Wow, Young has a white face. That's how trendy old cows eat tender grass. What a miserable ant. Chen Yuan, who is full of grief and anger. Immediately, I secretly swore in my heart. Damn man. Good material, good reality. The old lady was not convinced. I'll definitely have a chance to make a comeback. 30 years in Hedong. 30 years in Heshi. And yet at this moment, Zhao Yuqi's sudden call. His thoughts were immediately interrupted. After Shin Shui answered the phone. Immediately, Zhao Yuqi's voice came out. Sister Shun, do you want to start a business with me? Suddenly, Shin Shui's face changed greatly. He didn't expect that. The opportunity to make a comeback came so quickly. The woman actually came to Chen Yuan's bedroom early in the morning, and he also began to lift up his clothes. It was the first day that Chen Yuan just moved into his new home. 8 a.m. She hadn't gotten up yet. But at this moment, suddenly, there was a sound of the door opening. Chen Yuan, who has been systematically strengthened, martial artists have become extremely sensitive, instantly woke up from the bed and became alert. Immediately, Chen Yuan hurriedly got up from the bed. The secret enemy is not in the middle of the day. I don't think there will be a burglar in the house. When he thought of this, Chen Yuan couldn't even bother to wear clothes. Hurriedly grabbed a vase and walked towards the door. After quietly hiding in the doorway, Chen Yuan immediately scolded in his heart. Stealing things and stealing to Lao Tzu. Don't want to mix it up? The next moment the bedroom door suddenly opened. But Chen Yuan showed a smug smile. I saw that the person who came was a girl, carrying a breakfast in his hand. This is not who Su Lele is. He is the only one who has the key to this house. Looked at Chen Yuan, who was attacking at great speed. Su Lele was immediately stunned. Chen Yuan, what are you doing? After seeing that it was actually Su Lele, Chen Yuan unanimously suppressed Su Lele through his hands. It's you. Chen Yuan immediately hurried. Placed the vase back on the table. Su Lele didn't expect it. Seen after opening the door. It's such a picture that makes people blush. He quickly turned around and walked out the door. And Chen Yuan got dressed. While praying beautifully. Lele, why are you here? Don't even say hello. Su Lele's tattoo immediately opened his mouth to explain, I'm sorry. Brother Yuan, I didn't know you moved in so soon. I would also like to rearrange the bedroom. After walking out the door, Su Lele's cheeks were flushed. A satisfied smile was raised, secretly rejoicing in the good guys. That's a pretty good figure. There are also 8-pack abs. And Chen Yuan was after getting dressed. Suddenly, a wicked smile appeared. I made a joke casually. Okay, don't explain. You've seen me throughout. It's also so unfair. Do you want to show me too? As soon as the words fell, Su Lele pushed open the bedroom door again, walked towards Chen Yuan, followed by. Su Lele blinked his big watery eyes. Cheeks are red, and Brother Dao Yuan is far away. If you really want to see it, you can't do it. Seeing that Su Lele actually agreed. Chen Yuan immediately wanted to see the domineering hard way. I'm still afraid that you won't make it. He couldn't help but muttered to the point that he wanted to tease me. Look at which of us is more ruthless. I didn't expect it. Su Lele didn't seem to be afraid of Chen Yuan's drive at all. He actually chatted about clothes. He smiled lightly and said, well, see this scenario. Chen Yuan was immediately startled, and his mouth opened wide. Hurriedly stopped and said goodbye. I'm kidding, don't come to the real thing. He couldn't help but feel a little speechless. This woman is not wary of me at all? I'm not afraid to play with fire. And Su Lele also snorted when he saw this. I'm joking too. He immediately secretly played with fire. I don't know which of us is firewood and who is fire. Immediately afterwards, Su Lele gave Chen Yuan a wink. There is a seductive smile on the corner of his mouth. Approached Chen Yuan and said, Brother Yuan, you must be hungry. I brought you breakfast. Then Su Lele began to open the thermos pot. Take out all the breakfast that has been prepared in advance. Placed on the table. But Chen Yuan suddenly came to Su Lele's side. Raised eyebrows and said, Didn't you just say it? Don't you know I'm moving here? Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan hugged Su Lele. Quipped, and now brought me breakfast again. Lele classmate when he is not old. And Su Lele hurriedly took a hand. Grabbed Chen Yuan's premier island. Oh, Brother Yuan, don't care about these details. Let's try these dumplings that I made myself. As long as you want it, brother. I'll make you breakfast every day from now on. Su Lele's words are obviously upon. A woman willing. Cook breakfast for a man every day. There's so much to include here. Chen Yuan couldn't help but say secretly in his heart. It's a lot of preparation. Looks like I want to get on top. The popular actress took the initiative to find Chen Yuan again. Can only care about Chen Yuan, who is dry. But gave him 500 billion. Sent him away. Just now. Su Lele early in the morning. Just with a well-prepared breakfast. Sent it to Chen Yuan. Su Lele was very well prepared. No meat and vegetable pairing. There are even dumplings that he makes by hand. Looked at the dumplings that Su Lele made for himself. Chen couldn't help but be so depressed that he also made dumplings. These dumplings look really good. It's very plump. Su Lele heard this. Immediately threw Chen Yuan a wink, but no. I don't just make dumplings. I can also make soup. As long as my brother is willing. I can cook it for you every day. Su Lele's words are obviously upon. However, Chen Yuan pretended to be crazy and stupid. Some people make breakfast every day. I'm sure I do. Then Chen Yuan sat down on the table. Said with a serious face, Why don't you be my life assistant? I'll pay you. And Su Lele was after setting up breakfast. While handing the chopsticks to Chen Yuan. While smiling, he said that there is a lot of money to see. I don't want money. I'll make it for you every day for free. At the moment when Chen Yuan took the chopsticks, Su Lele suddenly used his fingertips. Gently scratched Chen Yuan's palm. See this scenario. Chen Yuan hurriedly stuffed dumplings into his mouth. At the same time, the secret enemy cannot lie in the groove. A young man in his 20s. Who can withstand this? Chen Yuan, after tasting a dumpling. I can't help but feel a little surprised. It's still stuffed beef. These dumplings are really delicious. Looked at Su Lele's delicate expression. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly admire. Su Lele is also too good at shaking. She is worthy of the nickname Straight Men Exhibition. Just as the two of them were having breakfast sweetly, Chen Yuan's mobile phone rang suddenly. Turn on the caller ID and take a look. A call from a myopic high-hanging groan. After Chen Yuan answered the phone, Gao Xianin immediately intersected with Chen Yuan. Be sure to help me. Chen Yuan couldn't help but interrupt a little impatiently. What's wrong with it? Long story short. I'm busy. Vincent. Gao Xianin couldn't help but sigh with an ugly face. Oops. I really can't help it. Speaking of which, Gao Xianin directly explained the reason for the opening of the company. Yang Dao's new drama is also going to start filming. But bookstores and studios make things difficult for us. Unwilling to cooperate with us. As soon as I heard this, Chen Yuan couldn't help frowning, muttering Yang Dao. Which Yang Dao? I'm not impressed. Gao Xianing heard this. Immediately, I complained angrily to Oops. It's the dead fat guy who always calls you Godfather. What a memory. People are getting old. Is it easy to shout at your Godfather every day? You don't even bother to pay attention to me. But you should also help raise treasures. This is turned on, and it burns money every day. Chen Yuan after listening. I prayed while eating breakfast. Okay, I'll help me. Then Chen Yuan said with a nonchalant face. Isn't it just the bookstore that is making things difficult for you? I'll give you up to 5,000 billion. Let's build our own film and television city. The next moment the phone hangs high in silver. I suddenly received a text message reminder. It was Chen Yuan who called him 500 billion yuan. Look at a dense chain of zeros. Gao Hangyin was immediately stunned. 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000. 500 billion just called. Chen Yuan was drinking coffee. On the one hand, I was impatient to 500 billion hits. I'll go to your company in a few days. Something is looking for me. After Chen Yuan hung up the phone, Gao Xianin couldn't help but muttered with a shocked face. That's 500 billion. How does it feel like he said it as casually as 50 pieces? And Chen Yuan, after enjoying the breakfast carefully prepared by Su Lele, suddenly smiled and thanked Lele. I appreciate the breakfast you prepared. Speaking of this, Chen Yuan suddenly dragged his chin. But I think it's better for me to move out. As soon as this remark came out, Su Lele's face immediately changed greatly. He couldn't help but wonder why. After speaking, Su Lele instantly showed an aggrieved expression, whispering, "Is there something I did badly?" The man drove tens of millions of Rolls-Royce, took his good brother and Du Xiaoye to eat at a roadside stall. Just now, Chen Yuan, after eating the breakfast prepared by Su Lele, suddenly he said he wanted to move out. Su Lele immediately exploded when he heard this. He hurriedly asked anxiously the reason why Chen Yuan wants to move out. Seeing Su Lele's pitiful look, Chen Yuan opened his mouth and explained, "If you are always like this, come in without saying hello. I'll be embarrassed." Speaking of this, Chen Yuan suddenly smiled and said, "If you want me to stay here again, I hope you can take the spare key out." He muttered without saying anything. This is after luring the wolf into the house. How can there be a peaceful birthday? Su Lele heard this. With a depressed expression, he handed over the spare key to Chen Yuan. "Okay, I'll just hand over the keys." Seeing Chen Yuan turn around and put on his shoes, the corners of Su Lele's mouth overflowed with a smile. "I will give it to you in my heart. I don't have more than one spare key anyway." Just when he was snickering, Chen Yuan turned around suddenly, said in a serious tone, "I know you have more than one spare key. Thank you for the breakfast. But if you don't respect my privacy, I'd better move out." Seeing this, Su Lele hurriedly prayed, Okay. When people found out, they saw that Su Lele listened to it. Chen Yuan turned around and went out. Waving your hand, "I know you're the most empathetic." I went goodbye. Chen Yuan was secretly proud of the island woman while walking. Be beaten often. Otherwise, it is easy to go to the house and uncover the tiles. Last time it was a lesson written. Then Chen Yuan drove Xiaoruoyu, a Rolls-Royce Phantom given to him. I came to the school gate of the Big Five, just when Chen Yuan got out of the car. Not far away, a familiar voice came from Yuan Zi. I'm here." I saw Lu Wenjie with a sister by his side. Greeted Yuan Zi with a warm face. "You're here." And Du Xiaoye also beckoned to Chen Yuan with a well-behaved face. "Hello, Chen Yuan." After seeing Du Xiaoye, I couldn't help frowning. In his heart, he secretly said that Du Xiaoye was there. I wanted to talk to Fumiko about some personal matters. It's not so convenient now. Seeing that Chen Yuan was not driving a Ferrari this time, Lu Wenjie immediately called. "You've changed cars again. Where are we going to eat?" And Chen Yuan was indifferent to get in the car. And after Du Xiaoye followed and got into the car, the corners of her mouth couldn't help but raise slightly. Secretly proud of me, worthy of witty. Chen Yuan and Lu Wenjie have such an iron relationship. The place where Chen Yuan's worth is definitely going is very high-end. I didn't have any white makeup today. Not long after Chen Yuan drove to his destination, Du Xiaoya's face immediately pulled his crotch down, looking at the humble small restaurant in front of him. Du Xiaoya couldn't help but complain secretly in her heart. Make no mistake, what a garbage place this is. It's dirty. And Lu Wenjie laughed and said atomically, yes, this Sichuan cuisine is old and authentic. I'm afraid you're rich. Take me to eat some black pearls. I'm not used to eating those places. Chunyi Wenyin immediately laughed. Am I the kind of pretending to be a peddler? Today's main theme is a hearty and casual. Then Lu Wenjie said to Du Xiaoya, this shop tastes good. You'll be blessed in a moment. Although Du Xiaoya was dissatisfied, but also hypocritical filial piety, isn't it? Then I thank you so much. Immediately, Du Xiaoya's face became gloomy. He couldn't help but secretly suspect. Is this Chen Yuan a poor ghost pretending to be a rich brother? Eat this garbage roadside stand. Am I looking away? Just as the three of them were seated, the TV on the side suddenly came out to announce hello everyone. Here is the well-known artist Gao Xianing. Ladies convened a joint press conference. Ms. Gao Xianing said at the scene, his suspense film and television company has big news to disclose. Lu Three's eyes were immediately attracted, and Gao Hanging opened his mouth to announce hello everyone. I'm a high hanger. The main thing here today is to announce one thing. Seeing this, Chen Yuan immediately shook his head, secretly said in his heart that he didn't know what it meant to be low-key. What is the benefit of always brushing the sense of presence? Ignorance for the next moment. There was a loud moaning sound on the TV. Well-known gods. Mr. Yin invested 100 billion yuan in our company. We're about to build all of Asia, and even the world's largest film and television base. As soon as the words fell, Lu Wenjie immediately asked with a look of disbelief on his face. Swallow, total atom. He's not talking about your mother. You're going to build a film and television base. And Du Xiaoya's eyes immediately opened, beginning with a golden light. 100 billion Chen Yuan is so rich. Immediately, Du Xiaoya looked at Chen Yuan with admiration on her face. Secretly shocked to be called a huge rich, but informal. Eating roadside stalls his character. Blew up. Mr. Yan's name is driven by the high-hanging silver. Completely blown up. Just now, Gao Xianing announced the company that Mr. Yin gave him in a high-profile manner. Invest 100 billion yuan. The matter of building a film and television city. After the revelation of high-hanging silver, then Mr. Yan's name may not be long. It will be like Principal Wang, who will make a sensation across the country. Chen Yuan couldn't help but be secretly annoyed. What are you pretending to pull me on? Now the whole country knows that I am Mr. Yin. How to be a low-key pickle girl. That's when it happened. Lu Wenjie's face was suddenly full of excitement. You even know female celebrities. When will I have the whole autograph ready? And there are many more. What's going on with your film and television base? Chen Yin immediately said that there was no problem. It's just nonsense at the base. Seeing this, Lu Wenjie hurriedly said, 100 billion. Are you a money-printing machine? As soon as the words fell, Chen Yuan Ming added dishes. He interrupted by gagging his mouth. It's yours. Stop yelling. And Du Xiaoya, who was sitting next to the two, his heart was already trembling. He looked into Lu Wenjie's eyes. Little stars have popped up inside. He couldn't help but be secretly excited. Lu Wenjie is the ladder of my life. Immediately, Du Xiaoya secretly decided, I got to hold on to him. Casually missing some money is enough for ordinary people to retaliate. It's all up to him to change my life. Immediately afterwards, Du Xiaoya hurriedly picked up the tissue, fiercely stuck to Lu Wenjie to help him wipe his mouth. At the same time, he is so gentle that Wenjie is such an adult. Don't pay attention to me when you eat. Meanwhile, inside the Jin Mao Tower, The Avengers, who have long been together. The pot has exploded. Qian Mingming, after listening to the news of Gao Xuannin's announcement, couldn't help but look blatant. Didn't you say he only had 50 billion? And he actually knew Gao Xuannin. Zhao Yuqi said it before. Chen Yuan has 50 billion family assets to inherit. This was said by Chen Yuan himself. When he heard this, he had no choice but to be filial piety. Maybe he's being modest. That's when it happened. Qin Bingxue suddenly opened her mouth to explain. Chen Yuan knows Gao Xuannin. That's what I know. Chen Yuan previously attended a charity auction dinner. Gave Gao Xuannin a gift. They have known each other for a long time. The alliance couldn't help but be depressed. Is Chen Yuan spending 100 billion this time to pick up girls? Xiao Ruo and Wan Yin shook their heads. Rational analysis. I don't think it's that simple. The $100 billion project is a big deal. It can't be an ad hoc decision. This should have been decided a long time ago. It's just that at this time, the high suspense of the realm is revealed. After listening to Xiao Ruyu's analysis, Zhao Yuqi and Qin Bingxue nodded without nodding. Echo to the deed. 1,000 for pickle girls is also outrageous. Miss Xu's analysis is very correct. Many of Chen Yuan's actions seem absurd. In fact, there is another meaning, and Xiao Ruyu guessed without frowning slightly. Carp Technology. Big Cat TV is now a member of the film and television base. What exactly are you laying out? Come to think of this. Xiao Ruyu couldn't help but sigh secretly in her heart. I really can't see through you. That's when it happened. The former Ming Ming was born suddenly. It is recommended that if this time Yuqi you go to break the news. Our Big Cat TV is also a total investment in cigarettes. Will there be a whole bunch of streamers? Join with industry insiders. Zhao Yuqi's eyes lit up instantly. I'm so excited. Ming Ming, you're so smart. Zhao Yuqi thought about it secretly. I'm afraid that after today's press conference, the name of Mr. Yin will soon resound throughout the country. There are hundreds of billions of huge riches. Others must think that big cats have special development potential. After all, the boss's vision is accurate. That's when it happened. Xiao Ryu suddenly said loudly. Could it be that this is also Chen Ren's plan? The woman was instantly stunned when she heard this. At this time, Xiao Ryu and the others began to realize a little. They found out what Chen Yuan had done. There is a very far-reaching layout behind it. Suddenly, they all floated in their hearts. Same thought. That is, Chen Yuan, this man is really terrifying. That's when it happened. Shen Shui, who just joined Big Cat TV. Suddenly, he came to the crowd. Curious, Mr. Zhao. What are you talking about? Zhao Yuqi heard this. Immediately pointed to the high-hanging groan on the TV. There was nothing high in the air. Isn't it at the press conference? We're talking about his investor, Mr. Yan. As soon as I heard Mr. Yan's name, Shen Shui's face immediately turned ugly. The yin you are talking about is always which yin zone. The front of the church is strong and strong. Hurriedly opened his mouth and said which Mr. Yin could it be. It's the most famous one. Shenjie, you don't know. Our company is also a total investment of yin. Classical Chinese. Shen Shui's face immediately turned ugly. He immediately frowned and spoke. I resign now. Is it still too late? The man saw that he could no longer keep a low profile. Start planning right away. Just now, Shen Shui learned about Zhao Yuqi's company. It turned out to be the queen of Yan's total investment. Immediately said he wanted to leave. Seeing that Shen Shui was leaving, Zhao Yuqi immediately looked anxious about why. Sister Shui, haven't you already agreed? Why do you regret it now? Seeing that Shen Shu was silent, Zhao Yuqi didn't understand being an anchor even more. You brought me into the industry. I sincerely ask you to join us. If you are not satisfied with the salary package, we could talk about that again. If you are worried about the growth of the company, you also see our company. With Mr. Yin as the backing, as soon as I heard the name Mr. Yin, Shen Shu immediately shouted. Interrupted because of Mr. Yin. Speaking of which, Shen Shi explained without an ugly face. The reason why I want to leave my job. It has nothing to do with anything else. The main reason is because of Mr. Yin. Tell the truth. I just offended Mr. Yin. Will lead to the bankruptcy of the company. If Mr. Yin knew that I would join your company, I'm being targeted for something small. I'm afraid it will make you hear this. Zhao Yuqi was immediately stunned. He didn't expect it at all. Chen Yuan would actually do such a thing. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but think back to himself. Ever since I knew the mortal rim, he has always been harmless to humans and animals. Come to think of this, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but look weird. Do you say that Mr. Yin made you bankrupt? Chen Yan's temper seems to be quite good. But Zhao Yuqi feels that Shen Shi is really a talent. He's going to be there now. I can't find anything better than Shen Shi. More suitable for the management of the company. Immediately, he picked up his mobile phone and said Sister Shui. Don't worry, Chen Yuan, he's not a cautious person. I'll help you talk to him. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan and Lu Wenxia. Du Xiaoye's 3 people have also eaten and drunk enough. Ready to leave. After a full meal, Lu Wenxia took Du Xiaoye to say goodbye to the atom. Let's go back to Yuan next time. Chen Yuan Wenxing hurriedly nodded in response. Call when the time comes. Just when Chen Yuan was about to leave the small restaurant, Zhao Yuqi's phone called. After the call is connected, immediately, Zhao Yuqi's voice came out. Chen Yuan. There's something I want to tell you about. Chen Yuanwen was not stunned. Tell me something. Immediately, Chen Yuan frowned slightly, muttered in his heart, came to the door so quickly. It's to ask me to give high-hanging silver. Invest 100 billion in the matter. But Zhao Yuqi on the other end of the phone asked about Shui. Sister didn't offend you before. Then you have someone shut down his company. Wen Yin Chen Yin couldn't help but feel a little confused. Who is Shui? Which department? Immediately, Zhao Yuqi was so anxious that it was Shen Shi. I opened a live streaming brokerage company before. Because I offended you, I went bankrupt. Chen Yin quickly remembered who this Shen Shi was. But he is on this royal sister fan woman. There was nothing good about it. It seems that there is such a person who is quite unexpected. I taught him a lesson. Mainly this aunt. In my name, I was out there to deceive. It's kind of annoying. As soon as I heard this, Zhao Yuqi immediately decided to be a peacemaker. That is true. Sister Chen Yuan and Shun are now working in our company. He was also taught a lesson. I asked him to give you a sincere apology. Can you not remember the villain? As soon as this remark came out, Chen Yuan's indifferent voice immediately came from the phone. Okay, you can get him to apologize. Chen Yuan couldn't help, but secretly can't help but be an enemy. If this aunt really knows that she is wrong, I really don't need to kill him. Although Shen Shu, the reason why it has fallen to this point now, it's all because of Chen Yuan. But he still took the phone and said sorry. Mr. Yin was my fault before. Don't you think it's better or not with me? I will definitely try to assist Ms. Zhao in the future. Be a good employee. Chen Yuanwen replied casually. That's over, so be it. Then he hung up. After Chen Yuan hung up the phone, Shen Shi suddenly exhaled a turbid breath. Thank you for your anticipation. I feel relieved now. Seeing this, Zhao Yuqi immediately opened his eyebrows and smiled. Sister Shu. I just said that Chen Yuan actually has a good temper. From now on, we will be a family. Let's work together. And Chen Yuan, seeing that Shen Shi actually really apologized to himself. He didn't secretly think about this Shen Shu doctor. It's a yes. Chu Nungshin is a character. Going to Chairman Zhao's company should be able to help. Xuanji, Chen Yuan frowned. Secretly decided to be a pity. High emotional intelligence is not available to everyone. Some people just need to bang and bang. Meanwhile, the high-pitched press conference continued. It's hanging high when you are about to announce the location of the film and television base. His phone rang suddenly. After the call is connected, immediately, The voice of Chen Yuan's reproach came out. Gao Hang, you're good at it. If you have the face, sell me. You're making such a big fanfare, saying that cigarettes always gave you 100 billion. You let me be a low-key person in the future. Classical Chinese. Gao Hanging couldn't help but look hard to see that I didn't. Do you call this low-key? He was secretly annoyed and said, you are a low-key fart. All day long, he plays the piano and rewards the anchor. It's a gangster again. Do you want a face? Chen Yi originally wanted to criticize and educate Gao Xian. But think about it. That's already how it is. Now education doesn't mean anything either. Immediately, he turned pale and said, forget it. That's it. It is useless to say more. Now that you're all out there, do me something. The man just casually asked Gao Hang Yin to do something. But I didn't expect to be a god in the hearts of all the women again. Just now, Hai Hanging unexpectedly received a call from Chen Yuan at the press conference. Although Gao Xianin is holding a press conference at this time, but he still chose to answer Chen Yuan's calls first. As soon as I heard that Chen Yuan needed to help him do something, Gao Xianin couldn't help frowning slightly. In his heart, he secretly can't make the enemy of Mr. Yan's color. What the hell are you trying to do? After Chen Yuan finished speaking, Gao Xianin immediately nodded. Hard-tracked, good understand. Good. No problem. And then hung up the phone. Then he said sorry with a serious face. Dear friends from the media, I just answered a very important call. The call came from our investor, Mr. Yen. As soon as this remark came out, the atmosphere of the audience was instantly ignited. A group of reporters couldn't help but secretly speculate. Sure enough, it was Mr. Yen. It seems that Gao Hangin has something important to announce. It's the right time. It's scoop. Is the mysterious Yen always about to unveil it? Immediately afterwards, Gao Xianing suddenly got up suddenly. I was so excited that Mr. Yen told me. He just acquired a live streaming platform. It's called Big Cat TV. The platform, which was on the verge of bankruptcy, is about to go live again. Let's wait and see. Speaking of this, Gao Hangin suddenly raised his eyebrows. Jean laughed. We will be in Xining, film, and television. Become a strategic partner of Big Cat TV. Borrow the message of my chip. You can lock the Big Cat TV for the first time. The reporters below heard this. Immediately, they began to ask questions about Ms. Gao Xianing. Please ask about this strategic cooperation, whether it was booked in advance. High-hanging silver lady. What is the relationship between Mr. Yen and you? High-hanging silver lady. What industries does Mr. Yen plan to invest in the future? Meanwhile, the anchor lounges of major platforms have exploded. The news of this explosion opened the country. Let the eyes of many female anchors light up. Does Yen always have to engage in a live broadcast platform? She is usually so generous with money for female anchors. Will not be stingy with their own anchors. That's right. I feel like I could consider jumping ship and going there. My current union is too harsh. That's Mr. Yen. Even if you pay some liquidated damages, jumping to a big cat must also be a big deal. Inside the shark at this time, I was also shocked by the news. The boss of the shark couldn't help but exclaim. The editor-in-chief actually wants to engage in a live broadcast platform, looking at the hanging clouds where the press conference is taking place. The big fish boss couldn't help but look sink. Now the industry has been carved up. Even if he has deep pockets, what can he do? And yet at this moment, Little Quack suddenly broke through the door, panicked, and said that the boss is not good. The people from the R&D department and the operations department just now. The collective resignation was raised. Many subordinate trade unions also said. His own anchor began to change jobs. Classical Chinese. Boss Shark's face instantly began to break out in a cold sweat. The face was full of amazement. How could this be? Could this be his way of breaking the game? Kaohsiung Eagle has just broken the news. Xiao Ruoyu and others who were watching the live broadcast in Jinmao Tower. I was shocked in an instant. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but look at Xiao Ruoyu with admiration. Excited. Gao Shuiying has done enough publicity for Big Cat TV this wave. It's all there. Only Chen Yuan had a plan to explain it. And Xiao Ruiyu frowned, put on an unfathomable look, but filial piety. Actually, I'm just guessing. I didn't expect to guess it. With the help of a high-hanging chant, the rise of Big Cat TV will go to the next level. And you don't have to spend a penny on advertising. Eventually, a linkage effect is formed. The women couldn't help but be secretly shocked in their hearts. Chen Yuan is really a business wizard. One ring after another. The previous absurd behavior. In the end, it was confirmed that it was a strain. Deliberately. That's when it happened. Qian Mingming suddenly frowned, opened his mouth and said if Chen Yuan is really like this. That what he called pickling girls before. Is it all about investing? As soon as this remark came out, weakened and not frightened frowned. Some of the lost ways, yes. Eyebrows and eyes spent so much money before. If it's not just a pickled girl, then his purpose is only a commercial return. When in a few girls for a while, there was a feeling of emptiness in my heart. They said with a shameful face that he was spending money on us. Not trying to chase us at all. Just feel like we have potential. Become his employee. And so it goes. Chen Yuan is not their licking dog at all. Spending money doesn't mean pursuing them. They had the same thought almost at the same time. What exactly does Chen Yuan feel about me? Does he love me or not? Love me a little bit of friendship. How much weight do I have in his mind? Gold worshippers. After hearing that her ex-boyfriend invested 100 billion yuan in female stars, fall into endless remorse again.